sometimes you hear these Google Play Store horror stories where people get banned because they knew someone who had an account who broke some rule. Did you have any trouble with Google Play in the past, or was it all smooth sailing so far?
Yeah, no, I've had a bunch of apps removed from the Play Store because they said that they violated copyright issues, which they didn't. But at the same time, they were for so I used to have notifications, and then one of the like monetization streams was I used to release theme packs for notifications. So you could change the color of your icons to be blue or whatever, and you could pay 99 cents or $99. $99 or 99 pence to get the theme pack, and a bunch of those packs got removed because they said it was copyright infringement when it wasn't, and I think I could have appealed that. But I've also had, I'm trying to think, I've definitely had some apps removed where I had to appeal and say that this was not removed for any reason. But I'm trying to think of what apps. I can't remember specifically which ones it was, but I remember there was at least one occasion where I had an app, because they don't tell you, right? They don't say, oh, if you don't fix this thing, your app's going to be removed. Just one day you wake up and you got a message saying your app was removed because it violates so and so. And so I remember I had to message them, which is also really hard to do. They don't make it really straightforward to get back into contact with them and say my app got removed because of this. It says it violates, your terms and conditions, section 17C. Can you tell me which part of this it violates? And then I waited 4 days and they were like, oh, we made a mistake because it didn't, and put it back on. So I've definitely had run-ins with that where because they'll just suspend your app. And yeah, and they also have this thing where if your app gets deleted, like if they have to suspend your account, then they basically know all of the accounts that are linked to your account. So let's say they suspend my developer account, I then go and work for a company, they make me an email that's, rob.joseph@company.com, and they associate that with their Play Store account. Their Play Store account could now get banned because I work for them and I'm attached to their Play Store account. And I don't know how Google does their magic where they know that it's always me. I assume it's like IP address or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I've definitely had run-ins with that. I also had a run-in where WhatsApp sent me a cease and desist message saying that my Read It To Me app infringes on their like IP and copyright because it reads their messages. And I wrote a whole post about no, was it WhatsApp or was it something else? No, it was something else. That's what it was. So I had an app that was called I think it was called Can't Talk, and it was basically an auto reply app. So you turn it on. Let's say right now we're having this podcast conversation. I set my app Can't Talk to on, and anytime anybody messages me, it will send them a message saying, sorry, I'm on a podcast, I'll get back to you, in 2 hours time. And I got a cease and desist message from WhatsApp about that app because they said that because it replied to their WhatsApp notifications, that it was in violation of their IP and stuff like that. So I ended up pulling that from the Play Store. I rebranded it as something else. I released it and it didn't do anything, and I pulled it eventually because I didn't want to maintain it. But I remember I wrote a whole post. It's on Medium somewhere. Somebody could find it about cease and desist because it basically, they were claiming that their notification was IP when it wasn't. It's like as soon as a notification appears on Android and I have access through public APIs to be able to interact with it, it's not theirs anymore. So that was one of those things where they were just like picking on smaller companies. I don't think I was the only person that got it. So I've definitely had experiences like that.
But at least you didn't have your Google Play account banned.
Nope. Nope.
I know that some people that actually avoid putting out their own apps because they are scared that they become unhireable later
Yeah.
because they have an app that was banned.
That's like a real risk though. I think having an app that's banned is fine. Having your account suspended basically means that it like you don't have to, like, nobody asks when you go for an interview, have you had a Play Store account like deleted or banned or anything. And I think as long as you're not associated with that company's Play Store account, it's fine. But how are you going to negotiate when you're in the job saying, oh, please don't add me to your Play Store account, because you can't tell them why, because they wouldn't hire you in the first place. So it definitely puts you in like a tricky position. But also, like, the amount, I feel like it's unlikely that your account would get suspended or deleted or banned unless you're doing something you really shouldn't be doing. But at the same time, because they don't make it really easy to get in touch with them, they don't really have formal kind of appeal process is. It's kind of just whatever they feel like at the time or whatever this bot says to do. So it's not like there's someone you can go and talk to and explain why you shouldn't be banned. If you're banned and they decide you're banned, then that's a problem.
Yeah, and that's like Reddit. There are often people who say they didn't do anything wrong and their account gets banned, but I think almost always eventually it turns out that they did do something bad or broke some rule. So you can't always listen to these people, because I think Google is not so fast in actually terminating your account. You really have to do something bad first.
I've also read accounts online from people who claim that they work at Google saying that they have access, so they could literally just go in, pick a name out of a hat and ban the account. And because the appeals process is so poor, the likelihood that anybody would ever ask, why did that happen, is really slim. And if that happens, then it sounds like you're pretty much screwed. So.
Yeah, but what would be their motivation to do that? You mean
no,
if they personally
100%.
dislike...
It would be like a personal thing, or they just think it's fun to ban people. Like, I don't know. But there is, like, I wouldn't say it's a risk. If you're not doing anything wrong, I think it's fine. I've had a Play Store account since 2011. It's 2021 as we record this. And I've had some apps pulled because they got suspended because in violation of policies that they weren't. And I've had apps suspended that I never appealed. So as far as Google is concerned, like, those apps are violating policies and my account's still there. So either I'm just really lucky or you do really have to do something wrong to get banned.